Hi and welcome. Okay, this week we're going to explore at least one more Van Gogh painting. This one right here, Starry Night over the Rhone is what it is. It's a little bit more difficult. Well, seemingly more difficult. I don't think that it necessarily is. This takes a little bit more planning. So as we look at this, we'll look at the gradients in the sky and we'll put those in. It looks a lot more detailed than what it is because of the brush strokes and the implied detail. It adds the texture, which makes it feel like there's more going on than what it is. So we're going to use a palette knife for the majority of the work this week, I think. I'm going to use some cold wax. This stuff right here, I'm going to mix this up in the paint. It's going to help us get a little bit of that texture and hopefully imply a little bit more detail than what we have going on. Benefits to working with a palette knife, it's really nice because when you put paint down onto the canvas with a brush and then you try to put more paint on top of it, the bristles will help mix that paint in, and that's how you get a lot of the nice blending. Well, a palette knife, when you smear some on and then you put another color on top of it and smear that on again, as long as you're not scrubbing it in like you're trying to make a blend, you're just applying it, it goes right on top, and so you get the nice crisp differentiations in color. So you can put a blue down and then you can put a yellow down and not have to worry about making green unless you're mixing it. But just to put it on top, it'll be fine. So we're going to use a palette knife for a lot of our work this week, and we'll see how that goes. Again, just like any other week, I don't plan. The most I plan out for my paintings that I do is I'll look at it and I'll study it and I'll think, okay, how would I apply this, or how would I build this? And that's the whole point of a lot of these master studies, or at least master inspirations, is just to get an idea how to break down what it is that you're seeing into something visual, into something that you can paint. So don't forget to let me know if there's something specific that you guys want to see. You gotta let me know what that is. I am very interested in hearing your thoughts, what you want. Do you like me talking through these videos and giving instructions like this? Do you not like it? Would you rather just have me play some nice music and just paint that way and just watch me paint? Do you want to see some still life? Do you want to see more tonalist stuff? Do you want to explore something else? Do you want to explore graphite? Do you want to explore watercolor? Do you want to explore acrylic? You gotta let me know. I'll be happy to look at any and all of those mediums and just kind of see what we come up with. And like always, I'll put some links down below. I've been working with Kraken Fine Arts and great gallery. They helped me through to promote this work, and really great people. I'll put the links to the gallery down below, and I hope you go check it out. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. You can help support this channel through some of these links in the description. Whether you want to send me some crypto or you want to, these paints are not cheap. Paints and canvases. You see me using canvases over and over again. As a matter of fact, this was an old painting. I didn't care for one of my first ones that I did. It just wasn't done very well. It was done okay, but I didn't wait long enough before I oiled it out, and I ended up wiping off some of the blue that hadn't quite dried yet. So there's that. So what I did was I covered it with a coat of black gesso. So covered it all up. Now I know last week we said you didn't have to, but this one, the Starry Night Over the Rhone's got a really dark background, so I wanted that darkness back there to kind of assist me in putting this together. So I put down that base color, and then I gave it a coat of raw umber and liquid. And liquid, as you know, will help speed up the drying time of the oil paint. So now we're going to start putting in this background, and it's more of a ultramarine blue, and I'm not going to try and see if it picks up on camera here. I'm not going to try and cover absolutely every nook and cranny and cover up that black. I'm not trying to do that. I'd like for some of that to kind of come through. There's not a lot to map out on this version in regards to where everything is and how it all kind of goes. It's pretty much just sky and water with a horizon line, so that we will look at that. We're putting in kind of base colors. Well, the horizon line, let's go ahead and think about the horizon line. The horizon line is probably going to be right around, it's a little over halfway up. So we'll put like a marker here. We're going to fill the rest of this in with these gradations of blue, some cerulean blue mixed with some raw umber. Just trying to get some. You see right here, I'm mixing a little bit too much on my canvas, and I don't want to do that. I want to just put strokes down and let it all just kind of happen. One of the things that I found that I really like from impressionistic paintings is it forces me to keep my strokes very, very, very loose. And I think that just gives so much life and vibrancy to a painting. See here, I do want to lighten, so I'm going to scrub a little bit. I want to make sure I get that in there. And it's picking up some of the raw umber. That's why I changed a little bit of color in there. But this also demonstrates what I had just said. Use a palette knife, and it'll go right on top of your other paint. Now, why do I use raw umber as a tone? Well, what it's going to do is it's going to help homogenize all the colors and marry all the colors that I'm putting on my painting to give it an overall color temperature. And we can talk about color temperature at some point. Yeah, figure out a good way to explain it. More or less, it's you know, you have warm colors, you have cool colors, and a lot of times, and even warm and cool can be relative. It can vary based on what you got going on inside your painting itself. For example, you can use red as a cool color against other reds, depending on how saturated it is, or different things like that. But just for the most part, warm colors and cool colors, obviously like blues and reds, for example, or yellows, when you don't have them balanced in your painting, it's very jarring to the eye. To have these colors more balanced, like everything has got an overall hue, it just helps to calm the eye and help the viewer to make sense of it and not be distracted by that detail. Now, I'm not trying to copy this exactly. I'm using it as a point of inspiration. What I am going to do is look at the values, look at the layout. I want to notice high spots and low spots in the painting itself. There's high spots and low spots in terms of value. So light and darks. And painting with the palette knife is a technique all in itself. If you've done it already, great. I commend you for it. It's awesome. Keep going and keep practicing it. It's gonna really add a lot of vibrancy and life to your work. So don't be discouraged as you are painting with a palette knife if it's not coming out the way that you want. You really have to learn how to use it, And to do that, it's really a self exploration. It's you got to figure out what technique works for you. There's no magic way of doing it. I'm just using the edge of my knife, just the edge of my knife, and I'm just rocking back and forth, just picking up and moving paint. So it's kind of blending, but it's not. I'm more or less creating just streaks and transitions of the paint to work them into each other without actually mixing. You can see I kind of like leaving lines, and I'm keeping those lines horizontal. Like whenever we work with water, we want to keep those lines horizontal. Otherwise, it'll make it look funny. It'll make it look like it's trying to roll right off of your canvas. And I'm not trying to cover all of that black up. You can see how it comes through, and it just adds to like shadows and reflections and stuff in the waterline. There's this land mass that's like right down here, and I want to put some blue in there for right now because it does have blue in it, and I want to put the yellow that's also in it on top, but I'm going to use this blue as kind of a background base color. There's a lot of yellow that's going to happen right here, so I don't want to. I don't put any more blue in there than I have to, because I don't want to mix green. Although if I mix a little bit of green, I don't care. That's going to be fine. And there's some people that are down here that I'm probably going to break a brush out for, just because I'm going to find that it's just going to be just a little bit easier to implement. And I'm mixing a little bit of blue, the ultramarine blue, in with the yellow ochre and some permanent red. Trying to make a nice dark color, darker brown. This is my undercolor for some of this stuff right down here, and more of a shadow color. So I'm going to put this on first, and I'm going to kind of sketch out my silhouette of what I want this area to look like. I'm kind of scratching in with the tip of my palette knife maybe some brush, what you might think of brush strokes or details. And again, just like before, I said before, you can apply this stuff right on top. You're not trying to mix it. You scrape up some on the edge of your knife right there, and you just lightly just graze right over top of it. And we're wanting to get some of this darker color in just periodically, and we're just going right over top of that blue. We're not trying to mix it in. No pressure whatsoever. We're just putting it on, laying it down gently. Just let the canvas take what it wants. Pull in the direction of the lay of the land. And just let it break right off of your knife. And just really lightly. And this should be like your mid-tone. See those lines that we etched in there? If you go over top of it really lightly, you'll not get paint in those crevices, and the paint will sit on top of the high points. You'll have more of that implied texture that we talked about. Now I'm just taking my knife and I'm just, the same as we did before, when we started to put some of those like detail lines in it, I'm just scratching just ever so lightly, trying not to blend, not to mix my paint. I'm just pulling it through each other to create that harmony, and it's going to imply all kinds of detail. I'm using the tip of my knife. If you use the flat of your knife, you're going to mix it. If you get too much paint on your knife, just wipe it off. A paper towel over here to my side, I'm just wiping it off just a little bit. I'm just pushing up, getting some of the land, like implied grasses and things like that, kind of breaking it up, pushing it up into the water a little bit. Come back up here. We'll know this again. We're painting what we see here. There's a water line that kind of comes up through here. I think it's more of a shore. And I'm gonna push up. So to do that, I'm putting paint on my opposite side of my knife. So normally I would scoop paint this way, but now I'm gonna use the bottom of my knife. So I'm gonna scoop away to pick up my paint. And you can kind of see it got a little ridge on that side. So when I keep my knife parallel and then lift up, you see I have a little stroke right there. And it just all depends on where your like how big your canvas is, where everything is in relationship to itself. Maybe it's easier for you to go ahead and just pull down, but I mean, if it's not and you want to try something different, feel free to give this a go. Putting some more dark in here where I think it needs it before we put in the yellow. And an orangey color out of the permanent red, yellow ochre. The same yellows that we use for down here is adding a little bit more permanent red to them. And I'm not trying to paint each building, I'm just implying color. This color would just be the city glows, and it just happens. It just Again, be very careful when you're putting in these reflections. Do not overmix. You're going red on top of blue. You're going to make purple if you're not careful. And we'll come back through and give these make these make more sense in a moment. And just pull off of my knife just a little bit. And the same thing over here that we've done. Just lightly touch and just let the canvas pull off the paint that it wants. So we're here and here. I'm just adding a little bit of the yellow or the orangey color to this. Wipe off my brush, my knife, and we'll go into the lighter color. I'm just using the tip of my knife, putting some of these far away windows in. Just a dab here, dab there. You know, and these don't have to be perfect. You're implying a lot of this stuff. So it's a city far away. So maybe you put in scratching some straight edges for tops of buildings. You're just implying what's there, nothing crazy. See, you can see some of the red that's peeking through as we layer these colors on top, and that's what you want. You don't want. We're not trying to draw in every building, every stroke of light. You're just implying, and let the viewer's imagination dictate what they see. We just go over this one more time with the new colors that we used. Now we can do the same thing that we did with the water before. And we're just going to tap in those waves and water details again, and don't overwork an area because you're not trying to mix, you're just trying to create detail. You will blend some, and that's okay. And on top of this, there's a boat that's going to go right here. Alright, let's put some stars in. I'm going to put the darker color first. So it's more that yellow ochre, permanent red, yellow mixture. And the placement of it's a Big Dipper, right? So we're just going to, it goes, try to get the placement somewhat accurate. I have a bunch of different palette knives. I'm going to try a different one. I want one with a little bit more of a rounded nose tip right there. So that way when I put it on, I can get exactly where I want. So I decided to switch to a brush for this. It was a little bit more detail oriented. So I thought I'd switch, at least to block it in, and then I will probably go back to the knife to put in the highlights and such. So this is just the silhouette of these boats here. Okay, and there you have it. This was done pretty well, I think. I might just touch up a couple of things. There's some highlights here or there that I may relook at. But for the most part, I think that this was pretty successful. I enjoyed tackling this with a knife. I think we got a lot of texture, a lot of successful emulation from what Van Gogh would have done. And remember, Impressionism, it's about capturing quickly a feeling, an event. These things are fleeting, they don't last forever, and that's the whole idea of capturing it. It's kind of like taking a photograph, but with paints, like you do, quick snapshot. And you can play with this however you like, however you see fit. Whatever makes you happy. Again, let me know what you guys want to see. I really want to cater to you. I have fun painting no matter what, and I'm going to do this no matter what. So just let me know what I can do to help teach you. Explore some things that maybe you haven't had an opportunity to explore. Or don't have the ability to explore, but you want to see it anyway. Just let me know. Again, like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you support this channel. Lots of ways to do that, and I will see you next time.